Well, we've got a featured story this week. Yeah, you know what? This gal has actually been on the Founders Webinar a few times in the last few months, but deservedly so. But, you know, because she has worked so closely with Ron Williams and his Champion Live program and all the great things that are taking place there, we figured it's time to bring her out again, only to share with you some of the amazing things that being involved with Renatus has done for her with Ron Williams' help. Sumary Oehlman, one of our President's Advisory Council, is here with us, and I am going to turn the time over to you, Sumary. Come on out here.
Thank you so much. Hello, Renatus Nation. Thank you so much, Bob, and thank you so much, Ron, and of course, the Locator Foundation. That's just beautiful. I'm very proud to be here, and the most of the thing that I'm a champion. And I'm very proud to say it, and I just say it because a reason, and I get here just because Ron Williams program, and I don't have any photos to show or share, but just imagine a Sumary with 46 pounds more, and not just pounds more, it's emotional pounds. It was like sickness, was a lot of situation behind that. And today I have the opportunity to share that I even get healed just with his program. And first, like every single program, when it's about fitness and diet, you think that it's gonna be difficult, it's gonna be challenging, and you're gonna do it. And it's very special and very unique. My experience, because was totally different, was something that I don't expect, because it's something that we get to points and areas that I was like, oh, okay, so we're gonna work with other things. And when he started to ask me stuff about my past, about my relationship with my family, about relationship with my spiritual life, with my relationship with even my education, people around me, that backpack that we have from my past. When he started to get there, I say, this is different. This is good that he going to that seat. He going to my mindset. He going to a place that I even don't expect that he gonna get. And that's just changed me to get a different lifestyle. And I start to understand that when you start with him, he have this conversation, like you start like here with the program, but when we want to create a mindset, but it's fine, but it's gonna change, because what we want to create is a lifestyle. And I was like, well, lifestyle, what is happening? Why lifestyle? Lifestyle means that I have a different relationship with food. I have a different relationship with my family, and I get done with my past. And I don't understand that was getting so much weight and stress to my body, and that I have grave disease. I have, in my past, I have hyperthyroid problems. So I have a lot of stuff that like make me crazy with my hormones and all that system. And the doctor was ready to just set up a day for my surgery, and everything was done. It's like, for the rest of your life, you're gonna have medication, and this is your life. And I can believe that I was not focused when I started with Run to get cured or go to my medication on that side. But 6 months after that, I lost that 46 pounds, that I changed my mindset, that I have a lifestyle, that I have a better decisions. When I get my blood test, my doctor say, hey, Sumary, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, so I'm in this program with this amazing human being that I love so much. And he'd be doing all this process, and I'd be just doing all this for these 6 months. And you'll be taking your medication. No, come here, sit down. We cried together. He says, Sumary, you're healed. And this is crazy, because you don't supposed to. Whatever you're doing, please do it. And I'm like, I'm in this program. I'm a champion, definitely. And I tell him, thank you. And can you imagine that celebration? He said, everything is done, and what are you doing? I start to explain that we just made this plan right to my body, because Ron is you don't gonna go just like crazy, do this diet. No, you gotta understand who you are like a person and what is the right stuff for you. And it's not boring. I have fun. I just know what is good and what is not good for me. And it's going like even immediately. It's natural. It's a lifestyle. So I even don't need to go to paperwork. It's not, it is in myself. It's who I am today. So it's going to be the decisions that I'm going to make. So far, if you want to know a little bit more, I lost 46 pounds. I start with 179. Today I'm always fighting a little bit, 130, 131. And yes, I'm like, I just want more. I'm more thirsty. I want to change people's life around me. If you have the opportunity to do the program, please just don't think about it. Just go ahead, because the impact is gonna be even in your financials. Next month that I start with Ron Williams, we made more like the $18,000, and I just like financials just be growing and growing. And I think it's because you don't feel more tired, you don't feel more boring, you are just full of energy. You are not worried about how you look like or how you feel. So pretty much this is what I'm gonna share. And I really love you, Ron Williams. You changed my life, and I know it's ready to change everyone. So I'm very blessed. I feel like never. Thank you so much. I love you, Renato.
Oh, thank you, Sumary. I appreciate that, man. I'll tell you what, a fitting tribute to an amazing guy, which is, of course, Mr. Ron Williams. The beauty is that, we don't just have to talk about him. He's here. So, Ron, I'm going to turn the time over to you, my friend, so that you can come out here and work your magic. And I was in the middle of sharing my screen, but hang on a second here. I got to get to a point where I can stop sharing again and then move it back over to you. So folks, each one of you, and love this gentleman. I mean, he is a rock star inside of the Renatus community. He's such an important part of curriculum development. He is one of our instructors as well, both in the AIT program as well as in the Profits course. And the reason why we brought in, a health and fitness and mindset coach like Ron is because if you don't feel well, you can't do well. And Sumary, I think you just, mentioned that. It was the simple fact that with more energy and clarity of mind and thought, you're able to focus on those things that are going to bring about greater results. And results is what Ron Williams is all about. So Ron, we're thrilled to have you here as our featured trainer. Come on out here on the Founders Webinar and let's rock people's world.
Oh, Bob, thank you so much, man. I am happy to be here with you guys tonight. I was listening to Sumary as well as Troy. I just love that guy, Troy. I don't get a chance to see him very much, but I just love that guy. Just being around him is just awesome. I can't wait to get to know him a little better. Somehow, Bob, you attract these awesome people, man. I need to spend more time with you. Sumary, I just want to thank you for just being who you are and just following the process. And I am so happy for you. I'm so thrilled for you. As I'm getting started, I'm going to talk a little bit about the immune system. First of all, I want to just thank God for my health and strength. I feel really good. I'm 58 years old. I won't tell Bob's age, but our age is pretty close anyway. But I'm 58 years old and I feel so good. I always say I'm like wine. I get better with age. So, but I want to talk about the immune system. And as I talk about the immune system, I want you to look at this, and we're going to talk a little bit about the COVID-19 as well and what we're dealing with, because I think it's really important. Some people are afraid of the COVID-19. I'm not afraid of it, but I respect it. Some people have no respect for it and they just say, you know what, I'm just going to go out there business as usual. I want to honor those people that are vulnerable. So I want to make sure that that I do and I follow the rules. But I'm not afraid of the COVID-19 because there are some things that we can do. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, so I can't come up with a cure for it, but I can definitely prepare my body that if it comes against me, I'm in a place where I can ward it off. And so today, what I want to do is I want to help you do some of those same things by just giving you some advice. And I'm not saying you have to do this, but I just want you to know that you don't have to be afraid of the COVID-19, because fear increases a stress response. And that stress response fights against your immune system. And that's what we're trying to build. The COVID-19 is an autoimmune deficiency, and it attacks the immune system. And it also is an inflammatory disease. So if you're filled with inflammation, you're more susceptible to this virus harming you. So I want to talk a little bit about that today. But as I go into this, I want to tell you a little bit about a personal situation that took place. I have 4 people in my family that have actually died from COVID-19. And my family is back in Indiana. These are relatives that are not really close to me, but they're in my family. My family struggles with diabetes and obesity, as well as morbid obesity. And these are factors that open you up to this COVID-19 being effective at destroying your life. There are several things. It's the obesity, it's the diabetes, it's the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, it's the elderly, and it's also those infants that don't have the immunity to this thing. So what we want to do is build our immune systems so that when this COVID-19 comes against us, that we're able to stand up effectively and not allow it to take our loved ones or to take our own lives. So as we go through this tonight, I just want you to be mindful that not to be afraid of COVID-19, but do what it requires for you to be healthy and to protect those loved ones that are around you. And sometimes we can be irresponsible by not protecting ourselves and then going about and infecting someone else that may be elderly, that may be overweight and obese, and that may have diabetes. So we want to follow the rules that are set so that we're not one of those people. So let me, you might ask the question, how do we build our immune system? What is the immune system? And how do we go about this? Well, one thing, our immune system is a mechanism that we have for survival. It's in our body and it's constantly growing and changing and shifting depending on the germs that are out there and the different small organisms. And it changes and it shifts so that it can help protect us. And the stronger your immune system is, the better able you're going to be able to fight this thing off. The immune system is, what it does, it determines between the good and the bad microorganisms. And the bad microorganisms, the immune system, its job is to detect it, then surround it, and then to devour it. We have mechanisms that actually absorb or eats these antibodies that are not good for us. So the immune system is very, very powerful in what it's supposed to do. But at the same time, we've got to be careful to make sure that we keep that immune system strong and that we're doing the things that are really important to build that immune system. So I'm going to give you a few things that are going to be helpful for you. One is taking the proper herbs. Taking the proper herbs and vitamins are very important to help build your immune system. I'm not going to give you a whole line of herbs, but I'm going to give you a list of a few herbs and supplements that you can take. One would be echinacea. Echinacea was used for many, many years by the Native Americans. And they noticed that when they had flus or colds and that type of thing, that this echinacea would fight it off. But what we've learned since then, that echinacea is actually an immune system builder. It boosts your immune system. So echinacea is something that you would want to provide in your own personal nutrition plan. Another one is glutathione. Glutathione supports the health. It also detoxifies the body. It helps to, get rid of all of those toxins that we have in our body. And going along with the glutathione, you want to make sure that it's, that you get enough water, good, clear, pure water that's mineralized, because that water is going to help detoxify the system, flush out all the bad, and hold on to the good in those cells. The glutathione is, it has an inflammatory response where it helps to lower the inflammation that's in your body. Now, this COVID-19 is, like I said, it's an autoimmune disease, but it's also fueled by the inflammation that's in our bodies. So we want to get rid of that inflammation, and glutathione is really good for that. Something that we're all really familiar with, and that's ginseng. If you were to say the word ginseng, most people would recognize that because they've used it or they've heard of it. There are several different types of ginseng, but the ginseng family is extremely good. It's been used for centuries for the immune system, and most people know about it. So ginseng is something that's really, really good for you to use to help build your immune system. Another herb that you could use would be the elderberry. There are probably 30 different types of elderberry. And again, this helps to build your immune system. As you're using the elderberry, you want to make sure that you don't overdo it. Anytime you have a good thing, when you have a good thing, you want to make sure you keep it in perspective. Any good thing, if too much of it, becomes a bad thing. So with these supplements and with these herbs and vitamins, you want to be real careful how you use it. Now, this next one is very interesting. It's also very common, and that's vitamin C. Your body does not produce vitamin C. Your body does not produce it. It has to absorb it from the foods and the supplements that we take. But vitamin C is very important as an immune builder. It's very important as an immune builder. The problem with vitamin C is that if you have sugar, the molecule of sugar and vitamin C are very similar. So if you eat a tremendous amount of sugar, which is very acidic, that molecule fights for space in the immune cell. And that sugar will beat out the vitamin C in taking space in the immune cell. So it's really an oxymoron to have a chewable vitamin C with high amounts of sugar in it, because it's canceling out the vitamin C. So you want to get a good source of vitamin C in your body, and in those cells, it's going to help your immune system in a way that, that nothing else could. But you want to limit the amount of simple sugars that you take in. Those simple sugars and the refined sugars, that's a killer for us when we take in the refined sugars. But that vitamin C is important. Remember this, that vitamin C and sugar are a similar molecule, and they fight for space in your immune cell. So you want to make sure you limit the amount of sugar you take in. If you have 100 grams of sugar in your body when you take in that vitamin C, that 100 grams of sugar has the ability to knock out your immune system for 5 hours. What does that mean? That means to you and I that when we take in that sugar, that we're susceptible to whatever's out there. Whatever's out there has the ability to come in. We've actually let our armor down, and we've invited the germs, the pathogens, whatever's out there, the COVID-19. So we want to be really careful. Again, I don't want you to be afraid, but I want you to be aware. And I want you to do the things that's going to better facilitate your body. Another one is cayenne pepper. Personally, I love cayenne pepper. Every year when the seasons change, I make what I call a tonic. I take the cayenne pepper, I take lemon juice, take a little bit of garlic and onions, and I put it all in some distilled water with minerals, and it's a whole gallon of it, and I'll drink it for 2 or 3 days. I'll drink it a gallon for 2 or 3 days, and it heats my body up. You know, when you eat something that's really spicy and hot, you begin to sweat. What it does is it raises your blood, it raises your body's temperature. And when it raises your temperature, that cayenne is fighting and eating away at whatever could be in there that would fight against your immune system. So it's really, really good to build your immune system, taking in that cayenne pepper. So take in the cayenne pepper. Some people can't handle how hot it is. So you want to get some cool cayenne, and that actually comes in capsules. You can take it. It won't upset your stomach quite as much. You have to get used to taking it, but it's really important. The last but not least would be bone broth. This is something that's fairly new and more widespread. The bone broth, it's got protein in it, but it's also good to fight those things that come against your immune system. Now we're going to get into some other things outside of what you can eat. Think about this. Meditation, scientifically proven, scientifically sound. When you meditate, it helps to build your immune system. It brings your stress level down. It calms you, and it takes you into another state. Now, on the same spiritual plane, this is one that I do a lot of, and that's prayer. Prayer is so important. There's a power that comes from prayer that I've noticed, and prayer is an immune builder, and it's scientifically proven as well to decrease the body's stress level. When you pray, if they hook you up to the probes, you'll find that during prayer and after prayer, your stress level slowly goes down. So prayer is so important, and I love it. So that's something that you can do. The other thing we want to look at is exercise. What they're saying now is that exercise actually increases the heat in your body. It increases the heat in your body. And what that does is it begins to fight against anything that's in there, any pathogens, germs, whatever is in there. When you begin to sweat and you begin to raise your body's level of heat, that heat begins to fight and ward off those things that lower our immune system. So how powerful is that? So exercise is extremely important. Exercise also builds up a defense where there's a toughness in your body, where your body has this grit and it's ready to fight against anything that's outside trying to penetrate and come in. Okay, exercise, diet and nutrition. Diet and nutrition is so important, I can't even tell you, because you are what you eat. And what you eat can enhance your immune system. It's where you're going to get your vitamins. It's where you're going to get your nutrients from. It's what's going to keep you healthy. If you're not healthy, you're susceptible and you're open to whatever is out there. There are certain foods that you can eat that's going to enhance your immune system. Your fruit, your vegetables, your grass-fed meats, low saturated fat foods, not low fat, because the fat is actually essential for you. You actually have what we call essential fatty acids that are just that, they're essential. Now, something that you may not have thought of, and that is your sleep. It plays such a huge part. When you don't sleep, if you have one night of bad sleep, where you only get 3 to 4 hours of sleep, again, it will knock your immune system out for the rest of that next day. So if you're doing these things that are negative, if you're not getting the sleep that you're supposed to, if you're highly stressed, if you're afraid, if you are taking in tremendous amount of sugar, it makes you susceptible to whatever is out there. So what we want to do is those things that could build our immune system, we want to take those things in. Those things that are contrary, we want to push away from those things, because Coach Ron wants to have you around for a long time. I want to have you around a long time. So that's really the reason why we're doing this Founders Webinar. I really want to appreciate Bob for allowing me this time so that I could give you this bit of information, and hopefully it's calming to you to know that you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of the COVID-19, but you can do those things that are required to strengthen your immune system. And you understand it a little better that if my immune system is strong, I've got what it takes to fight against this. I'm not going to be selfish just because I have a strong immune system, pick the virus up and carry it around and give it to other people. But I'm going to make sure that my immune system is extremely strong, that if something does happen, that I'm able to continue and it's not going to interfere with my survival. So to sum this whole thing up, what are you saying, Ron? I'm saying make sure you get proper sleep. I'm saying make sure that you have a good nutrition program. You're exercising. You're taking in the right supplements. You're making sure that, that you're doing those things that are building your immune system so that you can effectively fight off what our president says is a invisible enemy. Even though it's not invisible, it's really, really small, but it's definitely a real enemy. As I said, I've had 4 people in my own family that have actually died from this virus. But I guarantee you it's not going to happen to your coach. And my prayer is that it's not going to happen to you. God bless you. And that's the end of what I want to say to you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed that.
Ron, every time you speak, we enjoy it. There's no question about that. I took a ton of notes because one of the things that I've really been focused on is cardio. You know, I'm up at our vacation rental home. Since we just barely got it ready to start renting the darn thing when COVID-19 hit. We thought, well, okay, nobody else is going to rent it. We're just going to stay here. So we're hanging out and having a good time up in the mountains of Idaho. And every day that I possibly can, I'm out on my mountain bike, you know, trudging up the mountain and just to keep the cardio going. So having a list of additional things to help is a big assistance to me. And I'm sure that it is for a lot of folks because, you know, it's one of those deals where it's not really if we get this darn thing, it's probably when, unless they have a cure.
Absolutely,
for it.
Bob.
So we got to make sure we're in the best possible physical state, mental state, spiritual state, so that we can weather the storm and get to the other side and develop some immunity to it through our own immune system.
You know what, Bob? Personally,
webinar.
You know what, Bob? I personally think me and my wife, we've already had it. You know, I think we've already had it, and you know, I felt a few things that lasted 2 or 3 days and, you know, just gone because I know my immune system has been built up and I've been, you know, prior to this thing, I've been doing the right things. And even when this thing finally hit, even more so. So I think we've already had it. But I want to be careful that I don't give it to my grandmother. Right. Or, I'm sorry, I was going to say my mother-in-law, not my grandmother. My mother-in-law. She's with us a lot. And I want to make sure she doesn't get it.
Right. Yeah. Well, we got to be looking out for everybody. And, you know, you turned 58. Well, I'm not far behind you. I mean, July, I'm going to turn 58. So we're going to be pretty darn close. And I don't know. I mean, when you see us standing side by side, I mean, we look like identical twins. It's uncanny. I mean, you know, that we've been able to preserve this health and vitality and vibrance that we have. It's almost like we had a genetic disposition to just be, you know, well, okay, maybe you, not so much me, but, you know, for those individuals who don't have your years and years and years of training, what would you tell them about, you know, the best time to start?
The best time to start is right now. And to start, I would also say start off very slow and slowly work their way into it. Don't start off, you know, trying to do what they did when they were, you know, 16, 17 years old, but start off slow and gradually build up.
I had some time where I wasn't. And I know that there's an awful lot of folks who unfortunately have heart attacks and stroke when they go back to exercising because they try to go back to the same level of intensity that they left off at months Absolutely. Or years earlier. So I just took it easy and worked my way into it to where, you know, today, I mean, man, I can power up the mountain pretty good. So take it easy, but make sure that you make time for you every single day because your health is the most important aspect of of fighting this disease right now.
Bob, you said something about me and you, how we look like we look like
Oh,
twins.
like identical twins. Yes. Yes.
The problem, you know, I didn't want to mislead the people. I wanted to make sure they understood there are two real big differences between us. And one of those differences is you have your hair and I don't. And you're more handsome than I am, of course. And you're about 3 inches taller. So those are three differences that I noticed.
Three differences. But listen, if you had hair, you would be every bit as good looking, right? And if you just had a couple more, 3 inches, I mean, you know, then people wouldn't be able to tell us apart. I mean, I love you, man. You're like my brother from another mother. And I am so thrilled to, you know, have you as a part of the community. You know, it's gotten to a point where I just always accept the fact that people know who you are. But boy, when you go back and take a look at your credentials and what you've been able to accomplish over time, it gives weight to what you just shared with everyone. I don't know anybody else out there in history that has ever accomplished what you've accomplished, you know, 7-time Mr. Universe, 7-time Mr. World, 7-time Mr. Olympia, bodybuilder of the decade, 250 different championship titles, you know, under your belt. I mean, you're not just an anomaly. You designed a life of your making, and you refuse to say no to defeat. So if Ron Williams is telling you to go out there and take care of your health, now's the best time to do it. And it's just another one of the fantastic benefits you get for being involved with Renata's community, because we believe that knowledge is power, but only if applied. So now it's your time to go apply it. Ron, thank you for being our featured trainer this evening. We really appreciate you, my friend. And it's good to see you, even if it is just over Zoom.
Well, soon we're going to have to get together and train again, Bob. Yes.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And, you know, while my cardio is improving, you know, the rest of me still needs a lot of help.
Okay,
all right,
man.
Everybody.
God bless you and thank you.
Well, thank you. And that's our founders webinar. I hope everybody, you know, is being healthy, being safe, continue to, you know, focus on your business, focus on positive outcomes, because that's what's going to make the difference. You are the master of your own reality. Good day and God bless everybody. Bye-bye now.